Before a single word is spoken in this courtroom, before the judge enters and before the defendant even opens his mouth, we need to understand the weight of what's happening here. Cases like this don't appear out of thin air, they build slowly, quietly, over late-night decisions, over moments of anger, fear, pride, and vulnerability. What we are about to witness isn't just a legal fight, it is a collision of real lives, real relationships, and real consequences. Behind every accusation is a human being. Behind every defense, another one. And when emotions run high in a courtroom, especially when mental health, relationships, and family are involved, small actions can spiral into battles that none of the people involved ever expected. In this case, both sides will try to shape a narrative. Both sides will try to claim the truth. But the truth in situations like these is rarely clean, rarely simple, and almost never one-sided. So as you listen, as you watch the testimonies unfold, I want you to keep one word in mind: context. Because without context, a mistake becomes a crime, a disagreement becomes a threat, and suffering becomes ammunition. This is not just a story about a man facing legal consequences. It's about how we handle conflict, how we treat each other when emotions eclipse judgment, and how fragile relationships can become when trust fractures. Now, let's step into the courtroom and witness the clash of perspective, pain, and power.
Oh, the treatment center's recommendation.
Okay. You got me a little bit lost here. You go into the treatment center in Florida. You come out. They're basically, upon discharging you or releasing you from that, they're putting into place or give you a plan, an aftercare plan, right?
Yep.
Part of that aftercare plan was you were to get yourself into intensive outpatient treatment,
Yes, sir.
right? Their recommendation was something here local at University of Michigan, right?
Yes, sir.
You were supposed to call them, but missed that somehow and or another. And then, as per their policy, you can't get in for a while.
6 months.
Right. After all that happens, what do you do instead of, I don't want to put it that way. What do you then do? Nothing? You didn't get yourself into any type of treatment program, is that right?
I found a therapist, and no, I did not find an IOP.
Okay. Let me just ask you, and I won't hold you to it only because I know you've been drinking, but why didn't you do that? Honest answer.
Sometimes I feel like AA is more effective because I've done an IOP program before, and it's on Zoom. And sometimes I feel like AA and SoberLink is more helpful, especially in person AA.
Okay. Not yelling at you, but I'm just going to tell you, if you could figure it out yourself, you wouldn't be in the position that you're in right now, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
If it went just on your feelings of what you thought was best, we wouldn't be here dealing with this part of this, would we?
Yes, Your Honor.
So that's why you have other people kind of guide you as to what you really need to do. I also have a feeling that the program that you laid out for yourself, while you think effective, is actually just easier than doing the IOP, because an IOP can be difficult.
I desperately wanted that Michigan IOP 9 to 1, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I just screwed it up.
Right. But then you also then didn't put anything in place once you had messed up.
Right.
And in fact, if you're going to be honest about it, the stuff that you put in place was just easier stuff so that you could say you're doing something.
That's fair, Your Honor.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it for a while. And that's why you weren't going to go into the IOP.
it was the easier path.
Yeah. All right. Mr. Heenan, let me ask you this. You blew a 1-0. When did you stop drinking? When's the last time you had a drink?
So about 4, I woke up and my hands were shaking. So I drank some high noon. And then at
How
7,
much high noon did you have?
just enough till my hands stopped shaking.
Okay, what's that? Tell me what that means.
Like for me, it's like 4 to 6. And then at 7 this morning, when the liquor stores open, I had a DoorDash delivery of more high noon. And I drank again until my head stopped shaking.
And how much did you have that time?
Your Honor, honestly, I just kept drinking until my hands stopped shaking. It was a 4-pack.
Okay. It was a 4-pack.
High noon comes in 4-pack.
Right. And so did you drink them all?
Oh yeah,
Okay. And how long did that take you?
I chugged.
Okay. So that DoorDash delivery at 7, that was the last you had?
Yes, and my hands were shaking, so I've got a bunch of empties, and I this is how desperate I was. I would pick up all the empties on my table and see if there were sips. And there was one that was like that full, and I chugged that as well. It wasn't.
What? Hold on.
Sorry.
What time did you do that?
It was between 7 and 8 because I knew I had this coming.
Okay.
I didn't want to come in under the influence.
So at 8 o'clock, from 8 o'clock till I don't know what time we first called your case. Well, when you went over to community corrections, so that was around 3 o'clock, maybe somewhere around there. Between 8 and 3, did you have anything to drink?
No, Your Honor. It was 2:30 at community corrections.
Okay, at 2:30. But so from when you chug that half to 2:30, you didn't have anything to drink.
No, Your Honor. Last night I drank quite a bit though. I lost my boys in a dispute, and I've been on a bender.
Okay. So, Mr. Heenan, I'm just trying to, like I said, I'm trying to figure out where you are and trying to, when you say you've been on a bender, what were you drinking the night before and how much?
White Claw. I drank, gosh, probably 15.
Okay. And that would have been last night sometime. When you say that you stopped about 4, you said, or something like that?
I woke up at 4.
You woke up at 4. So yesterday you were drinking White Claw. You had about 15
Yes, Your Honor.
for over just that day, that evening?
All day. Yeah.
Okay. And at some point, you stopped drinking. Either you passed out or you just stopped.
Yeah. No, I
You
felt
probably passed out.
passed out, Your Honor.
Yeah. And then you woke up at 4.
Yep.
And then you needed something else.
Yeah, my hands were
Right. I get why. But you needed something else, and that's when you got the other stuff. Or you already had that.
I already had it.
Okay.
I White Claw and High Noon. I usually when I'm sober, I'm a fit person. I run marathons and stuff. So High Noon and White Claw are the lowest calorie drinks.
Okay. And so then you switched to the high noon and you did that, right?
Chugged them.
You're Heenan. Do you think you're in trouble? I mean, just not with the court. I'm not talking about with the court, but just with you and your sobriety.
I do. I have 16 years of sobriety. So I know I can do it. I'm just having a hard time right now with this divorce and losing the kids. Um, and just life is hard right now. You know, I had to resign my job I loved. It's just been rough.
Okay, so right now you're also not working.
I had to resign to go to treatment.
All right. So here's what I'm just going to let you know that you're going to be staying at the Washington County Jail, temporarily revoke your bond. Okay. Now, I'm not doing that necessarily as a punishment, but I have no way to release you and keep the community nor you safe. Okay. And I'll just ask you this. You're going to come back tomorrow. Okay. And I'm going to set that for 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. When you come back, and I may ask you this tomorrow, but
Up to this point, we've watched a defendant trying to hold himself together, insisting he wasn't aggressive, insisting he didn't mean harm. But the cracks are showing. What begins as confidence shifts into trembling hands, wavering voice, and the raw confession that alcohol played a role in everything leading up to this case. Moments like these change trials. Judges don't just hear words, they watch reactions, tone, posture. They look for the moments when a person stops acting and starts revealing. And whether he realizes it or not, the defendant just crossed that line. But here's what makes this moment so telling: his fear isn't just about punishment. It's about losing control, about the shame of being judged, about the pressure of being misunderstood. People often underestimate how much emotional distress, isolation, and desperation shape behavior in conflicts like these. This isn't merely a man explaining his actions. This is someone unraveling under the weight of expectations, accusations, and his own internal battles. And the judge, calm, measured, but observant, is watching every second of it. What happens next will hinge not just on facts, but on whether the court believes what it's seeing.
I want to know right now, what would you like to see happen right now for you?
I would like it to scram, tether, and start taking antabuse.
Okay, Mr. Heenan, is that what you really would like to see happen?
I need some accountability, yes.
Okay, but you also need some help.
Right. I agree. I do have a sponsor.
Have you called your sponsor? No, you haven't. Hold it. Answer my question. Have you called your sponsor?
No, I was too embarrassed.
Yeah. And the reason that you want the scram and the antabuse is because those are sort of easy things that I can do out of sight. Okay. You don't have to answer that.
Okay.
Okay, because I know what's going on. I've been doing this a minute. Okay. Between now and tomorrow morning, here's the thing that you're going to have to do. You're going to need to do the hard work. This isn't going to be easy. And you have to get in your head, because you've done it before, but you have to get in your head that there's not going to be an easy path. This is going to be a hard path for you. And I think you really do know that inside. You just don't want it to come out. People don't come to me whenever they're before me and ask me, give me a hard way to go, Judge. They don't do that, right? So I'm not expecting you to necessarily say that to me. I'm just telling you, this isn't going to be this easy path, this shortcut. And you got to wrap your head around that, right? You just have to understand that. So we're going to try to get something in place for you because let me put it this way. If I let you out right now, you don't make it through the night without drinking. And you know that.
Not with a scram.
I could put that scream on you. You're going to drink.
I spent.
No, you're going to drink.
Okay.
That scram is not a magic bullet. It's not going to stop you. The only thing that scram is going to do, quite frankly, where you are, the only thing the scram is going to do is just tell on you. It's not going to stop you from drinking. Realize that you pounded down 15 White Claws, and then you did 4, then that wasn't enough, and you had to call somebody to bring you more alcohol. Do you think a thing around your ankle is going to stop you after that? No, it's not.
Jail was really hard for me.
I know.
So that alone would stop me.
For a while.
I understand.
But you're going to go tonight. And then we're going to see you tomorrow morning. And Mr. Heenan, you'll never, or maybe one day you'll understand it. I'm not doing it to be me. I don't want to lose you. And I know if I let you out of here, there's a good chance we're going to lose you.
Thank you.
Our class conference will be adjourning. I'll just also call it a bond hearing. What is tomorrow, the 3rd? July 3rd, 2024 at 10 a.m. At this time, defendant bond is revoked. Let's reset it tomorrow. Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jackie Moss on behalf of Mr. Heenan, who is approaching.
Doing okay, Your Honor.
Okay. Where are we on this? Did we get any update on Bear River?
Your Honor, in regards to, pardon me, in regards to Bear River, yes, the update is Bear River can have Mr. Heenan admitted within 24 to 48 hours. However, they would require the referral from CMH. That was not able to take place yesterday because CMH said they required an order from Your Honor before
For CMH to evaluate him.
Yes. With that being said, my understanding is that in custody evaluations take place twice per week on Wednesdays and on Fridays. So if they received an order today, they could potentially get to him on Friday. If not, then it'll be into next week.
Okay.
With that being said, my position would be that where we left off yesterday, Your Honor was entertaining the idea of releasing Mr. Heenan on a scram tether. If the court is inclined to do so at this time, upon release, Mr. Heenan would be able to call the CMH hotline and immediately be evaluated. It's a 20 to 30-minute phone interview process, and then Mr. Heenan could continue with the admittance process with either Bear River or Mr. Heenan did mention another facility, Liberty Treatment, which is in Fayette, Michigan, Your Honor.
People have a position on this.
Your Honor, ultimately, I think we would defer to the court's discretion. The people really want to make sure that Mr. Heenan gets into treatment as soon as possible. I just ask that we set him up for success as best we can. So if we are going to release him on a scram, I ask that counsel help him get situated with making that call to CMH so that he's not left on his own to do that without any assistance in case he needs it.
I would definitely be willing to do so, Your Honor. And one other thing I wanted to apprise the court, there are a few matters that Mr. Heenan would need to get in order in terms of personal affairs, primarily his rent, and actually more importantly, as a part of the settlement agreement in his divorce, he's ordered to pay the tuition for his son's private school. That payment is due on or before July 10th. Mr. Heenan does not have his credit card information with him. All of that is at home. So in order to be able to comply with that, that is another reason that we are asking that Mr. Heenan be allowed to on Scram Feather.
Mr. Heenan, when you're out, who helps with just your support around you? I mean, what other people are around you?
I don't have much support, just AA.
And that you've been doing via Zoom?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, because here's part of my issue. Council's going to only be able to take you so far. So yeah, get you out, get the call made, but then you're there. And I understand that you've got the tether on, you would have the scram unit on, but all that may tell me is that you're gonna that you drank. I'm just real concerned. I mean, I'm just gonna be blunt about it. I don't know how you make it, even if for a day or two. I just don't know how you make it. That's my problem. And I think you know that too. Am I right?
Your Honor, I can do this. I can do it. I know I can.
And I want to believe you. I'm not sure I do.
I'm having a hard time here. I don't ever want to come back to jail. I'm not a bad person.
Hey, so that you understand, I don't think that you're a bad person either. I just don't. I mean, I'm more worried about you and what you do. That talk we had yesterday, I was kind of making that clear to you. That I'll be honest with you, I don't want you dying. That's what because eventually you're going to run out of opportunity and chances. And what weighs heavily on me, given what we went through that you past few days, is I could let you out on a scram tether and I never get you back.
For what it's worth, Your Honor, I did have a very frank and blunt conversation with Mr. Heenan and informed him that if the scram tether did indicate that there was consumption of alcohol, Mr. Heenan would very likely remain in custody for the pendency of his case.
Here's what I'm going to do. And you're not going to like it, Mr. Heenan, but I'm making the call. You're not going anywhere. I'll sign the order. He'll get assessed on Friday. And we're going to get you up to Bear River and start this process. We'll have to somehow or another figure out a way you'll be able to have your credit card at some point and get some information so that you can get that tuition paid and find a way to get your rent paid. But all of that, it's important. Those are important issues, but all of that pales in comparison to where this could be. Mr. Heenan, how'd you get here yesterday?
I drove, Your Honor.
Yeah. And I'm letting you know that that factors into my decision because, Mr. Heenan, by the time we got to you and you didn't drink while you were here, you were a .10. By the time we got you over to community corrections, and you had already been here a while. It's that behavior that, and again, I'm not saying that you're a bad person, but your inability to make a proper judgment on that leads me to the conclusion that I have to keep you right where you are, get an order, get CMH to talk to you, and get you into treatment. So that's what I'm going to do. And counsel, somebody will need to prepare an order for the court signature to do that because I don't. And I will sign it and we'll get it there. So at this point, I'm just going to continue your bond as revoked. I'm not going to even set an amount at this point. And I will adjourn the probable cause out. Okay, why don't I do this so that, again, we don't lose track. I'll set it for the 11th.
Okay.
2024 at 9. And then if there becomes an issue, we can get to the prosecutor. We can step to do something else.
What we've just witnessed is more than a courtroom dispute. It's a reminder of how messy, complicated, and emotionally charged human conflict can become. This defendant didn't walk out with a harsh conviction, but he didn't walk out unchanged. The judge didn't condemn him, but he certainly didn't excuse him either. Instead, he sent a message: accountability isn't always about punishment. Sometimes it's about guidance, structure, and learning to face life's struggles without spiraling. This case underscores a larger truth: people don't break in silence for no reason. Pressure, fear, heartbreak, and mental health struggles collide, often in destructive ways. But recovery, real recovery, begins when someone stops hiding their pain and starts confronting it. If you're watching this and you see a piece of yourself in this story, the fear, the mistakes, the confusion, remember this: you're not alone, and your next chapter doesn't have to mirror your worst moment. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep choosing better paths than the ones that led you here today.